Welcome to this video in which we're going to show how to, using Modbus TCP, how to connect two flow computers together with the G4 XSeries. We're going to first start by setting up the client to write quality data to the Modbus server. So let's get started first with our connections. Our connections will be made by utilizing the board, as you can see here, with our Cat5 connector on each board and joining both boards on a network. Next, we'll need to connect to both units. And as you can see here, we've got PCCU connected to the server and the client. Let's start first by connectivity to the server. First, let's take a look at the IP connection of our server. This particular unit is 10.127.171.142. Next, we'll look at our communication setup. Now let's remember, this unit will have the mapped register map and contain BTU gravity, nitrogen, CO2, and methane. So let's look at our setup information. We're going to be using 0.502, and here's our setup parameters. Let's look at our register map. We're going to have a Modbus register map that has 5 floating point registers. And we're going to be doing a cross-reference of 701 to 11.3.19, 702, 703, 4, and 5, respectively, to those other registers. Now let's take a look at the client setup. Let's go to the communications and take a look at the IP address, 10.127.170.160, so it does have a different IP address. Let's go to the setup. We have TCP client setup here. This is very important, this destination IP address port. This is the IP address of the master. That must be in there with a / and a 502 to make that work. Next, let's take a look at the request blocks. This is a Modbus request block, and we're going to be writing registers 7000, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 into our master. Now these are the sources of the data here on our unit. Now, to test the link, we must make sure that statistics is working for us. We want to see the number of polls increasing and late completions and errors be at a very minimal level, which we can see here is working. Now, to test this, let's write a BTU value from our client and try to read that in our server. Okay, so right now 1029.45 is the same on both units. So let's write 1030.12 into our client. As we can see, our number did change here rather quickly on our server. We are transferring data from our client unit to our server. This concludes our video. Thanks for listening.